So many artists who are inspired by the landscape want to express how they feel about the landscape as opposed to just recreating what they're looking at. So if this sounds like you, sit back and listen to my thoughts about how you can move away from expressing something that's realistic and getting more in touch with your inner emotional connection to the land and having your painting reflect that. Hey everyone, welcome to Whole Artist Mastery. I'm Marianne Mitchell. What exactly is Whole Artist Mastery? Well, it's all about learning to own your voice, making compelling work, and knowing how you show up in the world as an artist. Now, I really enjoy sharing my expertise that I've gained over 40 years of being a professional artist, and I really hope it helps you grow as an artist. So if you like what you see, you can help the Whole Artist Mastery YouTube channel grow by liking this video and subscribing to the channel. Now, before I get into the content about abstract landscape painting, I just want to make a note that today is December 2nd, 2024, and on Sunday, December 8th, 2024, we're having the second Sunday in the Studio event, global, worldwide, free event. All you have to do is sign up with your email at the Whole Artist Mastery website. Put your email in and you will get on the mailing list, and on Sunday, December 8th, you'll get the Zoom link to join. And the idea behind this is to have artists around the world making in their own studios at the same time. We're muted for most of the time. There's a little time at the end for chatting, but there's this incredible powerful energy that we as artists together are generating and putting out into the world at the same time. So it's from 2 to 4 on Sunday, December 8th, Eastern Time in the United States. So figure out where that is, where you are, and I really hope to see you there. So, abstract landscape painting. I got this idea for talking about this particular subject by talking with a mentorship artist that I'm currently working with, who was struggling with how to capture her connection, her emotional connection to a beloved landscape without it looking too much like the landscape. In other words, she would look at the landscape and get too caught up in making it look just like it does without having the emotional expression or the emotional connection she had with the land showing up in the painting. So I want to share with you about 3 ways that I've thought about that can help you let go of the realistic need, or the need to create the landscape in a very realistic way, and get connected to the emotional feeling inside you and how that translates in your way of using visual language. Now, as I talk about each approach, I want you to listen and think about which approach feels most like you, that you feel most connected to, and how you would go about painting, in a more abstract way, the landscape, as opposed to thinking, well, this is how I'm supposed to do it. Because when we paint from that, I'm supposed to do it this way, we often have less of a connection to our true inner emotional voice, because we're trying too hard to do it a certain way. So I'm hoping that one of these ways feels resonant to you in terms of how you can go and paint the landscape. So the first way is painting from a photograph. Now, the photograph can be one that you see, that you really are attracted to, that you really love, or it can be a photograph of a scene that you took, that you were actually in this place and you felt compelled to capture that moment in a photograph. Either way, it's the photograph that is supplying you with the visual memory or the visual aid to what it is about that landscape that you like. So how do you move beyond the photograph? Because a lot of people are painting just the photograph and they get really caught up in how it's supposed to be and the lines and the colors. And often, as we all know, photographs are less accurate in the kind of color that you want to convey, and sometimes value as well. Like shadows can be much darker in a photograph. So the first thing you want to do is ask yourself, why am I compelled by this photograph? What is it in this particular composition or scene that I really love? Is it the color? Is it a particular grouping of shapes? Is it the lines that I see? Is it a particular texture of the trees or shrubbery or stone wall or whatever? Is it the, what am I missing? Line, color, shape, value, texture. Those are the 5 elements of visual language. So when you're looking at your photograph, think about which of those elements you're most pulled by in your photograph, and start there. In other words, you can block out the composition to a point, but as you're blocking it out, if it's the colors that really sing to you, think about exaggerating the colors or using color in different ways to make the colors that you are most attracted to really sing. Now, I have several videos about mixing color and color relationships, complex color and clear color. So I invite you to go check out those videos to further understand color relationships. So the key to painting from a photograph, I believe, is that if you need that photograph to get started, that's all well and fine. But at a certain point, it's really important to let go of that photograph. Put it away, put it in your drawer, put it somewhere else so that you're not looking at it anymore. Because if you continue to try and paint from the photograph, use that photograph as the armature throughout the entire painting, you're never going to drop deeper down within yourself to understand or to express that very thing that you're connected to. So put that photograph away and get comfortable with now painting the essence of your memory of what it was in that photograph that you loved. And the thing about abstraction is that it's much less about accuracy of the real thing that you're looking at, and much more about capturing the emotional, physical, intellectual essence that you loved about this particular scene. Now, the second way of getting more connected with the landscape is a little more involved. So you might want to take notes. There's a video that's somewhat related to this. It's called Drawing to Find Your Artistic Voice. It talks about using what I call continuous line drawing without looking down at your paper and without lifting your pencil off the paper while you're drawing. So you're looking at your landscape, you're drawing. As I'm looking at you right now, I'm doing, continuous line drawing, pretending to with my hand without lifting it up off the page and without looking down to see what I'm doing. So by doing that, you're completely unable to make it look realistic. And it allows you to get more intimately connected with what it is that you're drawn to in the landscape. So there's a series of drawings that you can do that will help you get to that core connection. So here goes. The first one is to be looking at the landscape that you're really inspired by. and make one continuous line drawing, no more than a minute long. All of these drawings should be somewhere between 30 seconds and a minute. So you can't get too involved in being tempted to look. So you draw your landscape without looking down and without lifting your pencil off the page in about a minute. You can time yourself if you want. Then the next set of drawings are going to be done with your eyes closed. So the next drawing is you're going to be doing each drawing of one sense, of the four senses, as opposed to including sight. So that would be sound, touch, taste, and smell. So you want to close your eyes and just tune in. Let's say you start with sound. Tune into the sounds that you hear in the landscape that you're currently in. With your eyes closed, start to draw what you hear in your line without lifting your pencil off the page. And obviously your eyes are closed, so you're completely unable to see anything. So that allows you to really tune into the sound. Make that somewhere between 30 seconds and a minute, and then move on to the next drawing, let's say would be touch. So you're sitting or standing, maybe the wind is blowing. I'm not going to give you too many examples because then you'll be thinking about those things. What you really want to do is tune into the feeling, the physical feeling that you have in that moment, in that landscape for those 30 seconds to a minute. Then the next one, let's say, is smell. So that might be a little more difficult because maybe there isn't a lot of smell around. But, two quick little examples might be after the grass is cut, or if you're in near the ocean and you smell salty sea air, or maybe it's fall and there's smoke burning. I'm going to stop right there. Tune in to the smells around you and draw again, 30 seconds to a minute, a continuous line drawing. And then taste. Well, taste and smell are fairly related. So, and obviously you're not tasting the landscape. So that's a little bit of a stretch. You might find that one pretty difficult, but try it anyway because you have nothing to lose. 30 seconds to a minute with your eyes closed, one continuous line drawing. And after you do those four drawings, and try to refrain from looking at these drawings until the very end. So then the next drawing is with your eyes closed, pick two senses and draw them draw them together in this drawing with your eyes closed. And then the next drawing, do all four senses together. And then the last drawing is still with your eyes closed, but relying on the memory and the feeling through your senses of the landscape that you're in. And go back to drawing the landscape and see if you can infuse that drawing with any of the sensory experiences that you have. Now you can look at your drawings and see what you have. And it's much less important about what you have and how the drawings came out, and more important about the drawing experience connecting you on a deeper level to the essence of the landscape. And some people then paint these drawings, make shapes or whatever, and other people take that experience and start painting a new painting. See what comes out. Make this fun. And the last way is really how I do it, and that's by memory only. So I, take long walks, or I sit by the ocean, or take a hike in the mountains, or whatever, or driving as I'm driving across the country, which I love to do. and just taking in the land around me and the essence of my experience in this particular landscape. And then let that kind of infiltrate my mind and my heart to go through this alchemic process until I feel this inspiration driving me to create something that's of that essence. And so the painting that I'm showing you right now, it's titled Immeasurability. And it's really born out of my experience of spending 3 weeks on an island off the coast of Maine this past summer, where there was mist, the water was this deep blue, everything was very quiet, and I felt like I was sitting in eternity. I mean, that sounds, whatever it sounds like, I don't know, but it's very, very difficult to describe with words how I felt. So I feel like this painting describes how I felt and the whole experience of feeling like the land and the sea and the sky and myself were all one. And so that's what this painting came out of, but it came from that inner voice connecting to the memory and the outer scene all at once. I'm hoping that makes sense to you. So I hope this really helps, or at least gives you a starting point to let go of painting what you actually see, connecting to what you actually are moved by, and how what you're actually moved by can translate or be translated through line, color, shape, value, and texture. So thanks so much for watching. I hope again to see you on Sunday, December 8th, 2024, 2 to 4 p.m. for Sunday in the studio. Just go to the Whole Artist Mastery website, put your email in to subscribe to the mailing list, and you will get the Zoom link on Sunday. And this is a free event open to all. So I hope to see you. Thanks again. See you next time.